We need a little shakeup and find solutions to incentivize sellers to come to the market. All right, so the state of the housing market right now is similar to what it's been over the last year or two. We have such a shortage of housing right now, and it's creating a big problem. There's not a lot of homes for sale, and there is high buyer demand. There's lots of buyers looking for more inventory. This market is almost completely opposite to what we saw in 2008. We did see legislation come through, basically giving first-time homebuyers a tax credit for buying a home. This started with the Housing Economy Recovery Act of 2008, which provided a $7,500 tax credit. The following year in 2009, they made it an $8,000 tax credit. This absolutely made an impact, and there were lots of first-time home buyers that were looking to take advantage of this program and did buy a house because of it. So as I mentioned, this market looks opposite of what we saw in 2008. The reason for the shortage of inventory is for numerous reasons, a few being the low interest rates we saw over the last several years. Everyone that could refinance into a very low, artificial low rate did. So if you have a 2.5% or 3% interest rate, a lot of homeowners are choosing to stay rather than sell and buy something else. The low inventory is also feeding itself. There's lots of homeowners out there that are saying, I'm not going to sell because there's nothing out there. And it's just a loop that we're constantly seeing. You also have a shortage of new construction projects happening. So a lot of these home builders are trying to catch up. The outlook is good and they're bullish on building, but it's just not going to be happening quick enough to make up for the buyer demand that we're seeing. Also in other parts of the country, such as the Northeast, Long Island, New York metro area, there is no new construction virtually because there's no land. So we're stuck with the houses that we already have. So what are we going to do about this? There has been over the last year or two some proposals and legislation to kind of tackle this, but unfortunately it's falling on deaf ears right now. Just last year there was a piece of legislation called the More Homes on the Market Act that did try to address this problem. So right now on primary residences, you do not have to pay any capital gains for the first $250,000 as a single individual or $500,000 for a married couple. This may sound like a lot, but if you owned a house for 20 or 30 years in some of these neighborhoods where the values really increased, this is something that is prohibiting more homes coming to the market. So the piece of legislation did try to increase for an individual up to $500,000 and $1 million for a married couple. Some are even saying that this should apply for the mom and pop investors. So there's lots of individuals out there that might have a rental property or two. So some are calling for some sort of incentives for those sort of investors to sell their house. If we were able to have some sort of tax incentive to sell a second home or an investment property, we would see more of those homes coming to the market. There's lots of ideas out there, but I do think that these legislators do need to get together and figure out a solution. We need a little shakeup and find solutions to incentivize sellers to come to the market. Let me know what you think some of these solutions might be. I'd love to hear them.